And that kind of drove a lot of my project, right? People travel from everywhere, and parking, although it's there now, may not be there in the future. So how do we kind of repurpose a space that has multiple different uses and can bring revenue into the institution while also providing a green infrastructure, kind of like two-part intervention. So that first part of the intervention comes from the greenhouse gas emissions. So here we have the existing greenhouse gas emissions with the current path of travel that we have on campus. That's one car going one distance, and I had essentially like a baseline. So if we had X amount of students, they are commuters and faculty, staff. They come how many different times per week to the campus, how many days are there in the campus semester, and then obviously I'm just doing the fall and spring semester since that's kind of when the most population on campus is. So that's this big number right here. With reducing the path of travel with those same guidelines, I guess you could call it, for this GHG emissions proposal, you could say, this is what we would be reducing. This is just how little GHG emissions we would then have for us driving and just entering the parking lot as it is without any changes. So really awesome. Dennis was able to tell me that they're actually doing that because the boiler replacement, they're blocking off for construction reasons. So that's really awesome. Good to hear that they're already kind of making those good decisions. Although it's not long-term at the moment, he does hope that the institution can implement it in the long term since the gate's already there and they did put in a temporary security group. So here we have essentially another overview of campus as it is current, and it talks about where each parking lot is and how many parking spaces there are. So just a few things to point out. The North Campus lot, which is up here, has 139 parking spaces. It's our largest parking lot on campus. The Stabile lot, which is where my site currently is, has 121 parking spaces. It's the second largest on campus. And the student lot down here has 18 parking spaces, and it's mostly used for the facilities and like athletics. They have fans, they have trucks. There's about, I believe, 10 vehicles total, Dennis was able to tell me. Some of them are electric vehicles. They're looking into potentially getting a golf cart to help with those students who may have certain disabilities that require them to be transported from one part of campus to another. So there's a lot of different interventions that campus is starting to kind of look into. They just recently paved that lot, and they actually put conduits for EV chargers underneath that lot, so there's potential there as well. I would like to keep that parking remaining for that facility security area for this proposal. And then one other thing, there's a sky exposure plane, so essentially it begins at 60 feet above street level at our lot, and then that we have to begin kind of staggering in by a certain footage, and that's really important for my project because I'm actually building top. So obviously, it's parking intervention. I gotta go over the parking before we get into the cool stuff. So really small. I know. I'm sorry. I messed up all of the percentages here on the Zoom. But so essentially, the 121 parking spaces that we currently have, the parking lot isn't really ever full. And from what Dennis and I had spoken about, the times where campus is most active is during our orientation days or other bigger events like portfolio days. And really that can be, that parking need can be mitigated by providing other forms of transportation to campus. We have city bike, we have different scooters, we have public transport. And then also by planning like for orientation, just kind of staggering when students move in and kind of planning that. I think during COVID we really started to work towards better scheduling, something that we can definitely implement on campus. So with that being said, I reduced our parking spaces to 97 total with 3 handicap and 7 little EV chargers. So there is going to be potential for having a electric vehicle if somebody does kind of come in and need a charge up there for the day. So now kind of moving into the green infrastructure aspect of the project. I thought about a lot of different plans, and I wasn't too familiar with plans coming into this. I mean, I've definitely planned it before, but I never really thought about, man, like if I'm going to do this like design, do I put this tree here? It never occurred to me. Usually in architecture we talk about the building itself, the space that we have, and not really the experience that we have within nature and the space that we're building. So I kind of picked out these keywords such as dense, leafy, creeping, all these different words to kind of describe these plants that I wanted to see in the space. And what I think that could really benefit us being in New York throughout the different seasons. So, you know, obviously it's a street-facing site. There's going to be people walking around it at all times during the year. There's residential houses across the street. We want to make it look pretty for everyone.
Alexis, if you want to take a moment and try to fix it to
Yeah.
because anything will be worth it if it's only graphics.
Press the little next to the percentage.